everyone. Dustin Ganay here from the LA UXR Meetup Group. So excited for you all to join me today. And today we got a really special guest, Yeyen Ong. She is going to walk us through UX research portfolio best practices when using Lovable. And so she's created a portfolio site that is really great, looks amazing, much better than anything I've done in the past, admittedly. So Yeyen, I met her quite some time ago, almost like a year ago, actually. She was one of the first folks to kind of reach out when I kicked this group off a little over a year ago. She's a really bright researcher, has a mixed methods background, has done quant, has done qual, B2B, B2C. She's been doing it for a long time. And when she first launched her new Lovable UXR portfolio, myself, along with many people, were saying, "Wow, that looks really great. Like, how'd you do that?" I asked that myself, and as a former designer, I look at those little details, um, and I wasn't the only one. A lot of folks were saying the same thing to Ian, and so that's how this talk came about. We decided, you know what, let's get Ian to talk to the whole community because this is something that I think researchers and UX researchers especially, it can be a little tricky. Like, what are we supposed to put in our portfolios? If it's private company data, like we can't necessarily share that on the internet. How are we supposed to talk about our work and what can we show? What can we not show? So without further ado, let me introduce you all to Yeyen Ong.
Welcome to Stop Waiting, Start Building by LAUXR. So my name is Yeyen Ong, and I'm a fellow UX experience researcher here from the LA UX Research Meetup. Been spending the past years working on various user experience projects for startups and corporations, as Dustin has mentioned before, as well as my involvement here with the tech and hackathon communities in LA and a little beyond LA too. So today I'm going to show you what happened when I just started tinkering around and playing with new tools, and in fact it was Lovable this time. And something was born out of it, and in fact it started a whole chain of conversations and interest in the subject. I was really surprised. I was just I thought I was just, playing around with something, but you never know when once you try. And since then, many have asked me to teach them directly, and even in hackathons in high school and with colleges as well. So what was initially made as a professional slide deck on Google Slides ended up being a lovable site. I'll show you later. And then it became my pro professional portfolio site. And for the sake of keeping it to one word, instead of using the word website, slide deck, or others, I will be using the word portfolio because we are building, showcasing our work here. So I'm going to start off for this webinar here. I'm going to start off by showing you how it all started. From getting frustrated by Google Slides, sorry Google Slides, I still love you. Um, and that turned into a chain of reaction of creations. I'll also then discuss portfolio best practices, mainly for UX researchers, but this applies to anyone creating a portfolio of your professional work and how you should frame it, who you're presenting to, and why it matters. Next, I'll teach you how to handle NDA and confidentiality constraints. Then I'll show you a live walkthrough from me loving a lovable site from scratch. And this will be fun. Lastly, Dustin and I will hold space for questions. And as a token of gratitude for you attending our webinar, you'll be offered 10 free Lovable credits, but only if you're a new user. You get 5 as a free user, but 10 gets you, 5 already gets you far, but 10 is even better. So, um, so how did it all started? I'm going to show off my what's my original portfolio then here. Okay, so this is my original right here. So this is my original portfolio, it's used. I use this make I made this using Squarespace actually. I don't know if you could tell, but I didn't actually have this picture. This is a newer one, but it looked like this for the past 4 or 5 years. It is very generic. It was done on Squarespace. That's $25 a month, and it was really cumbersome to use. It was really as you know how templates work, it's not as templates are really they're pre-packaged. It was hard to move things around, it was hard to center things, and it was just hard to build it. It took me maybe about at least a month building this website here, this portfolio, at least a month. And each case study, don't get me started. I think each of them took at least 1 to 2 weeks. So it took quite a long time, and that's a lot of time spent just tweaking, like tinkering around with just manual labor here. So next, I was part of like this coaching program later on that asked me like, hey, you got to send in intro decks to your to the hiring managers and the recruiters, and they gave me this template, and I'm like, wow, okay, well, let me try work on it. It took me a while trying to work on it. I just couldn't even get to it. It was also so cumbersome because I was trying to get everything from my LinkedIn and my portfolio all in, and it just like I knew a lot of people also had a blocker just working this on Google Slides, but then so I'm just like, well, you know what? I hear that Lovable allows you to make slides, so why don't I just give it a try? And I just heard a lot of great things about Lovable. So then one day I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go on Lovable and make it make it into this format about me, my experience, qualifications, all that. And sometime earlier this February, it became this. So it kind of looks like my first one a little bit, but I try to make it intro deck style, right? Because truthfully, like people who read this, recruiters or hiring managers aren't going to spend much time unless they really, really dig in. But as you're applying, like maybe give it tops like I don't know, like 2, 4 minutes. So this is my first version actually, which was actually really long. So I started off with what I said, like, I got my info from my bio, from my website. So there are things that I already created from before. I put it into Lovable, say, hey, create this bio, make it this kind of style like the deck, all through prompting. And I wanted it kind of then my about me section, career progression, just like what the deck had, so that everything is just in one page. And my case studies are here, but so this is pretty long. Then I had quotes from colleagues and all. So it's nice, but I try to make it, interactive and easy so that maybe people could go down like this. Then I realized this is a bit too much, and I think I could do better. So this is my version 1 of Lovable. So after that, I reiterated and just like made it a little like, something someone would scroll down within 2 minutes and would just be like, I like it. So this is my final version. This is the version I have. And instead of having so many of that on top, I have this. I made it interactive too. You could just type in there. It's easy. You don't need to code. I make this pop. And to make it fun, I put hi there. Keep it a little simple. I just want my heroes page to look like that. Resume, email me, my about me. So everything has trimmed down a bit. One photo. Make it pop a little bit with some colors. And yeah, this is from my resume. These are from my resume. So I did, you upload artifacts onto Lovable and it does that for you. Then I slowly worked in chunks. I uploaded my case study, uploaded that. This is password protected. Lovable does all of that. It connects to so many applications, connects to Google Calendar, Google all these authenticators. It connects to Shopify. It has a lot of it's GDPR compliant. And I just saw the whole list this morning and it had even more. It keeps getting more and more new integrations. I think Vercel was one of them. Then there's Supabase and a ton more, a ton of just even I think there's Google Zoom, all like all the basic ones are there, but even the more hardcore programs are all connected there. So it you connect it and it just yeah. So that's what I had. It's just getting even more and more powerful, to be honest. And it's easy to use. It shows you, I'll show you later how it looks like. So that's that. And next, I'm going to be talking about research portfolio best practices for early level to senior levels. Applies to researchers mainly, but anyone here, like I mentioned, who needs a portfolio. So we do want to build this. Remember, I built mine in hopes for the hiring manager just to be able to scan through quickly. Because, like I said, like they get thousands, I don't know, hundreds and thousands of people sending in their portfolio every day, and some are not even going to look at your stuff. And if they do, it's 2 minutes. So that's why I try to make it, in the end, I try to make it shorter that way. And before we get into let's talk about who you're actually building for, right? Like I said, the recruiter skim, hiring manager is scanning for clarity and impact. And so your case study needs to work at two-speech, skimmable top and deep enough. And here's the case study structure. One, what's the decision at stake, not the problem, the decision, and what is this business issue about? Say it in one sentence. And two, what methodology did you use and why did you pick it? People ask you, why did you choose that method? So you should always have this ready. For example, why did you pick surveys instead of interviews? Why did you choose a diary study instead of one run round interview? You should be prepared to defend your answer besides saying why you choose them. And three, what are your findings? List at least, I'd say at least like 3 to 5, approximately there. You kind of gauge how much quality of the insights you give, but don't list like 12 or 20. Like start with the one that actually was impactful and changed someone's mind. And four, what actually changed the business decision? Name the real results, such as a feature that got shipped, one that got cut, a roadmap shift, or a budget that moved. Be specific about what actually happened. And five, what would you do differently? What are your learnings? This shows self-reflection and adaptability. So say what you change if you do it again. And if your case study has no um your case study has no moment, like if it doesn't have any moments where you're mentioning that something's wrong and what needs to change, then it reads like a marketing material, not a real research. So next, I'm going to be talking about challenges and solutions, whether you're in your early career or later in your career. And juniors and seniors are solving slightly different problems here. The challenge is juniors need volume and they don't have years of work yet, and seniors have a different problem. You've got the experience, but most of it is locked under an NDA. So the real issue is that you don't have enough projects and you might have too many. So it's how you show your thinking when you can't show the project. And for junior researchers or those early in your career, you don't need a huge base to build a strong case study and provide about, I'd say, like 2 real case studies. You can always pick up an app, product that you already use. You do a teardown, take one flow like an onboarding or checkout, and research why it might be failing users, why it's having issues in this part of the flow, why is it not converting. You can also volunteer projects, nonprofits or early stage startups that need research help. Some will actually let you publish it freely. Or you can redesign a challenge, take a existing product or reimagine one screen based on real research you conducted yourself, or partner with a small friend's business with real stakes, real users, and permission to share. They always don't need to have a client logo to be credible. It just needs to have real research thinking behind it. And in fact, that's what I did in my early career. I actually volunteered two of my friends' startups. One was a Series B startup. I was researching redesign and complicating task flow. And it was great. It actually, like, each time I did two of them. And I noticed each time I did I volunteered for it, I started getting more traction with my interviews. And if you're a senior, um, firstly, abstract, don't hide. Be clear. Don't generalizing doesn't mean lowering your quality. It means swapping all the facts that identify the client while keeping your actual thinking sharp. There are two things in a case study: facts that identify the client. And I'm mentioning this because seniors generally have to have an NDA, and you have the constraints of what you could share, right? And two different things in a case study, like facts that identify the clients, like the company name, the exact numbers, and the thinking. Um, for seniors, that's what you're showing, your reasoning, your methodology, and your judgment. And you want to generalize only the first one here, the first one, which is the company and the actual company name and the number. So say I did this for liquid death and the conversion rate went from 2% to 4%. You can say I did this project for a top beverage company and conversion improved by roughly 60%. Notice what didn't change. The story is actually impressive still. You can still explain what you tested, why you chose the method, what the finding was, and what decision led to it. You're only removing the name and the exact number. And second point is pick about 3 case studies, not 12. Listing everything reads as unfocused here, and get something 3 and deep and good, and go deep in it, but and shows range and hard decisions. And point 3, you're not evaluated on whether you can execute a study. That's assumed already. You're evaluated on judgment and that you could spot the moment a decision is generally uncertain and be trusted to make the right call when the answer isn't obvious. The mistake most people make is opening with what they built. I ran a study or I conducted 10 interviews. That's a description of activity. It doesn't show how you think. Instead, open with a fork in the road. The moment something could go wrong in a call, it shows that you're able to signal stakes immediately and issues, and you're able to navigate through tough waters. And what I mean too is that listeners is it tells the listener that something real was on the line, such as time, money, risk, and a decision that mattered, rather than you just describing an activity due like I did 12 moderated studies. Like what did your studies, what impact did it have? What made it change during the roadmap? In regards to NDA and confidentiality, this is always something that I know I myself before was kind of iffy and a bit nervous about content with NDA, but the NDA really actually protects the specific facts and not everything that you know already. So what's usually protected? Um, so you usually leave out the company name, the exact context around it, like I mentioned, exact metrics, screenshots, or internal tools, unreleased roadmaps, the names of customers, verbatim user quotes. If it's identified, and unidentifiable, if it's specified and unidentifiable, treat it as protected. And what's yours here? This site is where you actually get to present. It's like how you choose your method and how you went about strategizing and working with stakeholders, the sample sizes you handled, why did you choose that sample here, how did you structure analysis, and all the kinds of decisions your work has informed. You should be showcasing your judgment, and none of that, your judgment belongs to you, not the company here. And when in doubt with NDAs, ask your manager And one caveat before we move on, this is not legal advice. So you make sure you read your NDA agreements and speak to your manager and maybe ask a lawyer if it comes to that. Um, so next, this is the fun part now. I'm actually going to be doing a live build here. Let's start with building something. And for the sake of making it easier, I'm gonna make it start. We're gonna start off with lovable templates. I didn't start mine off with a lovable template at first. I try to make mine look the same design as my first website, but let's choose one for let's choose one to a template to start off. Which ones should we do? Look at their brand. Let's how about let's do maybe Elena Rossi right here. ATA's ready resume. She already kind of has one that's like that already too. But say, do you guys want to try this one? I think this one's good. Already kind of has a little bit of a build for you there when remixing. Okay. Okay. Here I will start putting, my about me. I go to, let's say, I go onto my first case study. This is what I did. I went to my about me and I essentially I copy everything here. I did it really fast because at first I wanted to do it like fast, but for the purposes of now, I will, show it to you guys as how fast I did it in the beginning. Okay, I would put for my about me, for my name, please put Yeyen Ong option. Oops. Oh, okay. Well, you could use up just credits. For that, you please use that use Yeyen Ong and okay. Then I copied and pasted my info here. And to save credits, you want to try to put as much as you can on one. It kind of depends, but sometimes this is actually just much easier, which is actually probably why I got over 5 credits. It went up to 10. But then say change my about me to this. And it takes a little time, but it's still better than using Squarespace.
Yeah.
Uh,
And while that processes, so does it take credits in Lovable like every time you prompt it?
every time you prompt it, but what you could do is before you prompt it, you could actually press build plan first
Okay.
for billing. Actually, then I will show you how that works because when I first started Lovable, they didn't have the plan feature. They didn't have the plan.
Oh,
Yeah, they didn't
okay.
have that.
So if you do the plan part, then it doesn't use credits?
It doesn't use up the credits as
Gotcha.
fast from what I believe. But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
definitely like it won't build a thing until you say I approve it. I'm just getting my
Okay.
LinkedIn LinkedIn link. So I get my LinkedIn link here, go back here, and please showcase visitor, let's press something backwards. Um, show my work history from LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, and actually, a question did come in while that processes,
Sure.
Ian,
Hmm.
that's pretty applicable. So, the question was, shouldn't a portfolio only have an intro to your profile and then your case studies, or should it also include your resume? as it seems to be expected now, instead of sending it separately. Like, any thoughts about like whether you should have your resume on there or not?
You should have your resume. Nowadays, like everything should be linked all together. It makes it easier because recruiters are not going to want to click things separately. That's why in my original one, my this one here, I have resume that you could download here and email me. And I put this as a signage down on my email whenever I send it out to recruiters or hiring managers so that they just get to me easier. Which all the way down here I have my LinkedIn, but I really should put it up there actually. Um and can you paste your LinkedIn? Okay. Well, I was not doing that the other day, but instead of this you can actually add your attach your resume on here. So this is my resume. Upload. Show me showcase my resume on the front page. Short 1 to 2 sentences for each description because you don't want to put too much each description. Just put my first 4 jobs, my last 4 jobs, most recent 4 jobs there. Still need to like tell it what to do or else it just does whatever, right? As any AI tool. No, I'm going to show you how build looks like.
Yeah, but just to kind of
Hmm?
note that that plan feature, like that's probably one of the better ways to minimize burning through your credits, right?
Exactly. Minimize
Yeah,
burning through your credits, and it also helps you like if you don't agree with the plan they give you, sometimes they give you like 3 plans and you could choose in between them. And if you don't agree, just like Claude, you
yeah,
could customize it on your own. And when it plans it too, it shows you all the CSS and the HTML, so you see how it's playing first before it actually builds it.
yeah.
And
And
right,
one of the other questions that came in that's relevant is what plan are you using? Are you using the $25 a month pro plan, or what plan are you using?
in the beginning, I was using just the free one. For the first one I built, I only used oops. This one here, I only used the free one. But granted, it didn't look like this when I first made it. I didn't have the top ones up here. And I saw how much reception it had when I had it as a very simple looking one like this one. So it started doing this here, right? And then I want to change my photo, so let's see where my photo is.
Cool.
Um,
And now you said you're on the pro plan now?
I'm on the pro plan because I just enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed it so much that um I like started building so much with the first version after just a simple blue one like that that I went on the pro plan because I wanted to also build other things.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I want my photo instead of Elena's um build. And also up here, like when I first made it, they didn't have these links, but you can always, say like, hey, on my top right hand corner, please make links, create email, or you could have them as the icons, right? The icon email and link it to my email and my on the LinkedIn portion here. Well, as you saw mine, I listed mine as words. I didn't list mine as icons. So I asked it to prompt it, email me, put my email, resume, put this all in the upper right side, put this as a um how does it call a hover state? Um, and I also asked it to like have this like sticky up there because I didn't want this. I want wherever you go to see like you can move around about me, case study, praise, resume, email me, and you know you're on Yeyen Ong. So, so that's what I created here so far. And about me, a section here, UX research, all this. Um, and what I did with the case studies too, because I know we're kind of running out of time. What I did was I show featured projects, list on my top projects. Let's see what this one does here. I've never tried it here. What I did was I have already my case study in like a document form. Like I didn't like Claude made helped me clean up a case study. And what I did was I uploaded the case study and said, make a card for me. So this is what I did, what I asked Claude to do with my case studies. And I have the names on here because I did the NDAs are they're okay with putting the names there. Just FYI, I took out the pictures. Um, I upload them. I said, please make cards out of my case study and make them clickable. What give them okay, make each of the case studies clickable into a different page once you click it. So read more and you'll see the case study here, but I have this password protected for obvious reasons. But that's how I uploaded my case studies. Like I just, I go on back here, current portfolio structure. I think this one's giving a dummy portfolio right now, but okay, well, it actually like got my other, and I would just say turn these into cards and have a read more button that opens up in a new page.
All right. And while that's processing, so Yeyen, like, so you
Mhm.
put your case studies behind a password wall to kind of
Mhm.
some of the data that you were sharing in those case studies. That's why you did that password like that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
I've
But
seen.
but but like you're like in your presentation earlier, you were also saying that if you change some of the information around, maybe you change the company name, kind of, change enough of the information so that it's not sharing company data. Like in that case, do you need a password? I
Then you,
mean, can you just
I've seen.
share it? Yeah.
So I've actually seen some other senior researchers' case studies on it, and they work with some heavy duty, FDA approved stuff. They can't name anything, but their thing's not password protected at all. They just say a B2B top like pharmaceutical company. So their case study was amazing, but there was no password at all. So you could go both ways. But
Yeah.
remember to always ask your manager first and read your NDA.
Yeah. So kind of like debranding it is like if people can't trace it back to the company,
Yeah.
then then yeah, you can be a little, you don't have to have the password and that kind of thing. But if you're like an in-house researcher working for, company A, right? Like then people are gonna know, right?
Yeah,
So at that point,
exactly.
you gotta be smarter about, maybe changing those numbers, not
Mhm.
sharing any personally identifiable information and that kind of
Exactly.
thing,
And my
and maybe
numbers.
password protect it. Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly. And I've made sure I don't simply just share out my password too. And even the numbers on there, some like I put some approximation as well. Like I try not to put like all of the information, all exact numbers on there as well. And I've seen like some seniors do that too, and they get interviews.
Right.
You should be able to defend like why how the numbers come about. But I try not to inflate my numbers like too much. Still want to be
Sure.
truthful. Like if it did improve, show that it improved, then by numbers. Um, but it really didn't improve. Don't say it didn't. You do change a roadmap. If the project didn't go through, it was not it didn't go through because of you, because you actually helped de-risk the company and saved it $60 billion in money. Bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Um,
I think you just kind of highlight like it's all about showing the impact, right?
yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to share the exact numbers, but you can just kind of speak to, through this research, we did increase conversions on the website or that kind of thing, right?
I always put approximate, even if it's around there, I will put like an approximate like 60%. Because it
Right. Kind of
doesn't,
round it up kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So here, now I made it so that you read more. Now it turns into a case study here, but because I didn't show you guys how I uploaded my thing, so what I would do, is like instead of these are just placeholders now, right? But you can go back and upload if your case study is now just in a PDF right now, upload it and say like this is what I did. I asked NNG, how would you make refer to NNG for best practices of case study structures, follow the structure, use my case study here, and Lovable, please like use that structure and make a case study for me here and add a security feature. Add security password feature on each case study.
And so, one of the questions that came up is just like how does Lovable compare to some of the other portfolio tools? That was a question that came up. Some people are asking like how does it compare to Framer, for example?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if you've experimented with other AI tools for portfolios, if you have any thoughts about it.
I actually tried to go on Framer, and Framer was not easy. Framer's harder than this. There's Base 44. It can do it for you. It's improved a lot, but it's more for apps, like applications. This one also makes applications. So I'd say like Base 44 would be the next comparable one to use. Base 44 and Lovable. And others, it really depends. But really, I feel like the best in the market now is, as I keep reading too, that Lovable is like one of the top ones. They're like Series C now within like less than 2 years, or probably less than that. And they keep adding new integrations. They integrated with Notion recently too. I thought that was big. And just I think there's like 60 over integrations, so you could build almost anything on there. And it was just as you saw, it was just so it was easy to just prompt it if you don't know like UX lingo. Just say like, hey, you know, like let's say I want to make this, let's make my name pop. If I put that in, it just does it for you too. It's just easier. It's easier than in Framer. Framer's another template, and it's like it's not very it doesn't have the strongest AI.
The other question is around like domains, right? And like,
Mm.
you originally had like a Squarespace website with your URL, your domain name. So the question is like how did you manage your domain like from your old website to Lovable? Like did you get a new domain through Lovable or did you transfer your old domain over? Like how did you do that?
So you can actually I still have the old level domains, although you can buy your domains through Lovable. And a few months ago they had $1 per domain, which was amazing. But now, yeah, actually, like I've been looking to see what new domain I can change mine to, and Yen.tech was like 13 bucks Yen.tech was 13 bucks a year, and others like you could or whatever .com, like you can definitely change it to a .com, .io, .ai, whatever you want for a fee of a year. They're not bad prices either. I saw them; they're pretty comparable to like Namecheap.
You just created a new URL with Lovable then. It
Yes,
sounds
actually, so
okay.
here what you would do is remember you have to publish your thing, then it becomes live. So you make a name, it becomes a website URL here. So Yeyen Ong Blue, and then you make sure this is published, and you press publish. Then the link is a Lovable link, so it's Yeyen Ong Blue dot Lovable. It's publishing it now, and then after it publishes it, there will be a link, and then that's when you can add you can buy a domain afterwards.
Got it.
Now
Okay.
it's
All right. So
publishing.
yeah, so you just kind of kept that lovable URL there, and that it sounds like that's do you have to pay extra for that, or is that like included with Lovable, or
You mean pay extra for the domain? You pay extra like
yeah.
any domains. You
Okay.
pay
So like if you create like Lovable domains, you pay extra from like additional Lovable domains
just pay for the domain for a year. That's all.
for a year.
hmm
Okay.
And the free one has 5 credits, but like I said, by the end of this call, I'm gonna give you guys my code if you haven't used Lovable yet. So you get instead of 5 credits, you get 10 credits and use them wisely. As you saw, I didn't really even prompt that much here. If you prepare your prompts ahead of time, then you can easily do it less than I know of people who've done it for less than 5 credits, but 10 will just give you the let you have a bit more fun.
Last question. So if you're on the vendor side, right, it's often difficult to state the impact of your research, because you don't see the tail end of the impact of results. So what do you recommend for those people that are maybe consultants in serving as a vendor and not really sure what the impact is on their research there?
So in my portfolio, I actually still kept in touch. I think keeping in touch with your previous managers are important or colleagues. I asked them like how things have changed since I worked on the project on this uncertain project. And I try to keep that, just try to just keep a log all the time of everything that happens during and even after your interaction with the company. And that's how I recorded my impact.
Ian, this has been super helpful and informative. We got a ton of great questions that came in, and obviously, this is an important topic. So
Yeah. I
appreciate you
can
going through
still
it with us.
share, I can still share the referral code if it's not too late. Okay, here. You could just screenshot and just get it here. So go ahead
Oh,
and
there you
have
go.
fun. And Yeah, so that's the referral code there. Thank you so much for joining us during lunchtime here, and hopefully you guys did get to eat too. But connect with us on LinkedIn, follow us on LAUXR group. We're gonna have more webinars, and if you're in LA, come to our in-person events. We have them once a month. Email me anytime. This is my personal email here, ong.yin@gmail. Add me on LinkedIn. Connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn fairly often, so if questions pop in a question maybe show me what you built, like to see, and I can give feedback too if you want. And if you have any other questions about anything today and beyond, like let me know.
Yeah, thank you again, Ian. Super informative. I definitely have a homework assignment to dig into Lovable here. Now I have no excuse thanks to your tutorial. Definitely looks pretty straightforward. A lot easier than doing the old school HTML and CSS like I used to do back in the day. So this is exciting. There's definitely no excuses for anyone to not be able to build a portfolio at this point, right? So thanks for showing us that.